Don't. Just please. Don't already. Just leave it. Hey everyone, at Don here again, and I'm back with another episode of the Bits and Pieces. And it's a new year, later in the month of January, but the Bits and Pieces are returning to my channel, and they're going to be a regular occurrence on my channel once again. So let's get right into it. Our first article comes to us from Dark Universe Horror Database, published on January 28th, 2020 by Nick Bond. Title of the article is Universal and Blumhouse Developing New The Thing Adaptation. Just let that one sink in a little bit. It's a picture of Kurt Russell, Beast in it, Adams McCready. According to a post made by producer Alan Dawes on his Facebook page, Universal Pictures and Blumhouse are creating a new adaptation of The Thing. The film will feature content from John Campbell's original novel, Frozen Hell. So it's not actually The Thing from Another World where Carpenter took his inspiration. It's further work from the original novelist where they took the idea for the movie The Thing from Another World. So John Campbell's original Frozen Hell. Dawes shared the following announcement. It's official. I received my contract and first check. I'm executive producing a remake of The Thing, but with additional chapters of John Campbell's groundbreaking novels Frozen Hell that has been lost for decades. Okay, there it goes out the window. It's a remake. It's a bloody remake. Why? Why are we remaking The Thing? Blumhouse of all. Like, it's just going to be a hard PG-13. It's not going to be R-rated. It's going to be all CGI, and it's going to be watered down. It's going to be worse than the 2011 prequel. Anyways, before I get off on too much of a side tangent, let's finish the article. He added, now for the first time ever, Campbell's full vision will be realized on the big screen. The new film will include the very best of RKO's The Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's classic, The Thing, and the books Frozen Hell and Who Goes There. That's the book that John Carpenter and the producers of The Thing from Another World took inspiration from. Many thanks to a lot of people, but none more so than the heirs to the story for their faith and trust in me. I said I'd get it done, and here we are. I'm forever indebted to you. How do you feel about another adaptation of The Thing? Let us know your thoughts. You don't want me to let you know my thoughts on this Dark Universe Horror Database. The Thing is like one of my top 5 horror movies. They should not be remaking it again. That prequel was cringy enough. It had some highlights. It had some high moments. It wasn't a terrible overall film, but it wasn't the greatest either. It doesn't hold a candle to The Thing on its own. It's like a wishy-washy movie. It doesn't hold a candle to the original Thing. And to have Blumhouse handle it, like I said, who knows? Because they did an okay job with Halloween 2018. We got Halloween Kills on the horizon and Halloween Ends. So maybe we'll get a full R, but then it's just going to be a CGI nonsense nightmare. So if they can promise me practical effects and, well, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think in the comments on the video. Do you want to see a remake of The Thing? Do we really want to go there again? Do we really want to touch another movie that shouldn't be touched? The Thing is being knocked off. Not too much longer. It doesn't belong in the Bits and Pieces, but the Back to the Future will be on that list. I'm sorry, guys. We're hitting the early 80s. We're hitting a key, like a touchstone of the horror genre at the start of the 1980s. We're there, man. We're there, dude. It's game over. It's game over. Anyways, that's it for this article. Universal and Blumhouse are developing new The Thing adaptations. So let's get on to the next one. All right, let's get on with the next article. And this one is near and dear to my heart. And a lot of the people that come to the channel take the time to join us on Crystal Lake Fridays. There has been news, everyone. There is news development on the franchise rights argument with Friday the 13th, the battle over the rights to the franchise, to the character, the property, as it were. This article is published by Friday the 13th franchise.com on January 27th, 2020. Article is Franchise Rights Argument Set for Battle on the 13th. Unfortunately, it's not Friday, but we'll get into that later in the article. 2 months ago, entertainment lawyer and Friday the 13th alum Larry Zerner mentioned the next step in the court appeals by Horror Inc. and Sean Cunningham would come this February. The oral agreements upcoming would bring the rights battle one very big step closer to its conclusion. Now we have a solid date for the argument, as Larry announced on Twitter today, and that would have been on the 27th. Mark your calendar. The Second Circuit has scheduled oral arguments in Horror Inc. versus Victor Miller, the Friday the 13th case, for February 13th at 10 a.m. Each side will have 12 minutes to argue. I will provide analysis as soon as the court posts the recordings and hearing. So Larry Zerner is actually the lawyer for Victor Miller. So he's working with Victor Miller against Sean Cunningham. And Larry Zerner was, if everyone doesn't know, he was Shelley in part 3. He was Shelley Finkelstein. He inadvertently gave, or donated, you might say, his hockey mask to Jason. And that's how Jason went from the sackhead to nothing to hockey mask. So he will be announcing that on February 13th. Unfortunately, it's a Thursday. It's not a Friday. But I still think that's kind of a tweak and a nod to the franchise that it was scheduled by the people in charge of the court proceedings. The judge, I'm assuming, set the date for the 13th of that month. So I got to give him nod for that. I got to give him kudos for that. Thank you. You got a sense of humor. Hopefully this is a development where we can move on to a settlement later in the month. Later in the spring, I mean. The original story that I heard last year, it was in the late November, early December timeframe, was that they're aiming for an April resolution. If these oral agreements go well, the judge will come down with a decision in April, and then they will go into negotiations in terms of the settlement between the two parties, and we could have an agreement. They could come to an agreement. If they don't, then the judge will have to decide on his own, but hopefully that's not the case. And best case scenario, as Zerner said late last year, was a June timeframe for a final decision, that we have some clarification on where this franchise is going. But for this story, February 13th should bring some very interesting information for fans and hopefully give us some insight to see how close we are finally seeing the end of the dispute between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham. In just over 2 weeks, we will have more to tell our readers. And then we just get into a little blurb about the original rights battle, that the original Friday the 13th film writer, Victor Miller, filed a notice of termination of the copyright on January 26th, 2016 for the script he wrote for the film. The termination of the copyright allows Victor monetary compensation for any future Friday the 13th films that are made using aspects of the script he wrote in 1979. This is made possible due to a provision in copyright law that allows the termination of copyright 35 years after the work is completed. Horror Inc., the Friday the 13th rights holders, filed a lawsuit against Victor Miller in 2016 to have his copyright termination thrown out. Since then, the rights battle has taken place into the court. So that's what got us into the court. That's what killed the game. That is what has prevented us from getting a 40th anniversary movie. Did you see Halloween have that same issue? No, because I remember, albeit not the greatest entry to the series, Halloween had a movie in 2018, close to the 40th anniversary, and we're here in 2020, 40 years later, we got nothing, but we have some developments, so hopefully this leads to somewhere where they can clear up the rights, make an agreement, and get this franchise back on track, get us a new movie, get the game back to life, because everybody's still playing it. We play it every Friday, sorry. Crystal Lake, now presenting Crystal Lake Saturdays, but no, every Friday, there's lots of people playing. There is still a solid base for a game that was declared dead when this started. I've seen more new players since then. It's come out on the Switch. We need this to happen. So hopefully we get some good news. That's it for this article. Let's get on to the next one. All right, and here we are with the final article of this week, just a quick one, coming to us from Dark Universe Horror Database again, published by Nick Bond on January 28th, 2020. Blumhouse's Halloween Kills will test screen this Thursday in Los Angeles. We're almost there. We're getting to it. We're so close. Like, it seemed like it was just yesterday that we had the 2018 movie come out, and then we had the news of these two movies coming out. This year, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends the next year, but we have according to the article, we have been informed by a number of reliable sources that a test screening will take place for director David Gordon Green's Halloween Kills this Thursday night in Los Angeles. You won't find any spoilers here at Dark Universe, but you can expect some details to emerge. David Gordon Green is attached to direct both sequels, with John Carpenter confirmed to provide both scores. The third film will wrap up the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers saga. Jamie Lee Curtis has signed on to star as Laurie Strode. Nancy Steffens will reprise her roles as Nurse Marion Chambers. Charles Cipher will reprise his role as Lee Brackett. Anthony Michael Hall will play Tommy Doyle. Kyle Richards will reprise her role as adult Lindsay Wallace. Jabrail Nantambu will return as Julian. Robert Longstreet has been casted as an adult. Lonnie Elam, Nick Castle, and James Jude Courtney are returning to play the role of Michael Myers. Halloween Kills will stalk theaters October 16th, 2020, followed by Halloween Ends on October 15th, 2021. So we're getting there. We are in the home stretch. 9 months away. Let's start the horror marathons right now for Halloween. We'll just do Halloween. We'll do it every month. And we'll watch both the director and the producer cut of part 6. You guys in? Let's do it. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there because I know we covered a lot of this before the Bits and Pieces went on hiatus in 2009, towards the end of the year. We covered a lot of news towards Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and we're going to get back on track with that with the end of this article. That's the end of this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. And like I said off the top, the Bits and Pieces are back. They have returned, and they're not going anywhere. Thanks again for watching, and if you liked, comment on this one, comment on any of the articles, comment what you think of the video in general. But while you're here, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll be back next week with another episode of the Bits and Pieces. Until then, I'm at Dawn, and I'll talk to you soon.